There are cases of injustice within our societies. Hate crimes are extreme cases of injustice that have existed all throughout history. A community should not be looked down upon because of ignorance and fear. To prevent these issues in societies, we must stand as a species, not as a racial, religious, or gender group. Hate crimes are very harmful to a community. Supplying social education and reaching out for others will help unify even the most diverse society. There are 10 groups of people interviewed about hate crimes. Each one of the 72 people were victims of a hate crime. The interview included questions about what happened in certain cases of hate crimes. 49% of these crimes involved violence, verbal abuse, and attacks through mail. 76% of victims were unharmed physically, but 5% were hospitalized, and 10% had minor injuries. We must also know what causes a person to commit a hate crime. I joined because my friends were all there, or I wanted to be a part of a group. They want a place to belong, or they want to be with their friends, even if it means causing pain to others. Most hate crimes are based off of race, with more than 48%. Second is sexual orientation, with more than 19%, and religious belief for over 18%. Upon the races, black people are attacked the most, with over 66%, and second, with 22% are white victims. With sexual orientation, more than 53% are male homosexuals. Being attacked for being a homosexual as a whole is over 28%. With religious beliefs, over 62% of attacks are against people with Jewish background. Second, with over 11%, are of Islamic background. A group of agencies found 7,164 victims. There were 3,968 victims in 2012. Over 39% were assaulted, and over 37% were frightened. 2,993 victims were victims of crimes against property. Over 75% of victims were involved in damage of property. The rest of the crimes involve stealing of vehicles and personal property. Hate crimes can cause damage to homes or a person. A lot of these crimes are because committers hate certain ethnic groups, sexual orientation, religion, and even sex. The process leading to hate crimes psychologically is explained by Henry Tajfel and John Turner, who studied the psychology behind these effects, and they found out that people feel the need to be in a group that is different from everyone else in the society to boost self-esteem. Then, to boost their self-esteem even higher, people like to compete against the other groups. This study later became known as the self-identity theory. Everyone was put into two groups, and the meaning of the two groups changed depending on who you are. You are either in the in-group or the out-group, and whoever was not a part of the in-group was competition. And this leads to stereotypes and prejudice. This is used in politics and racism and racial profiling. This does not mean that everyone is subject to being a racist, though. When people notice the bias and prejudice, they can be active in stopping it. A way to stop this is by changing how people see group labels, and this will cause the people to see race and ethnicity differently. Some people may not want this because even though it can potentially stop prejudice and social bias, it can make race and ethnic background lose meaning. Hate crimes can be stopped. Act. Do something in the face of hatred. Apathy will be interpreted as acceptance by the perpetrators, the public, and worse, the victims. Decent people must take action. If we don't, hate persists. Unite. Call a friend over, someone you work with, or anyone that you can trust to help you and fight the hate together. Study and find out what makes people hate. Ignorance is a big cause of hate crimes. Ignorance creates fear, and fear creates anger. If everyone knew what each other were like, then there would be a huge change in how people treat others. There are many cases of hate crimes, and numbers have been rising over the past year. Hate crimes are caused through the fear embedded within our psyche and ignorance. Minorities are attacked at a disgusting rate, and societies can't help but worry for their own safety. Any genocide you could think of was a hate crime. These crimes must be stopped. They are dangerous and affect societies in many negative ways. If we can educate ourselves about society while helping others in need, this will help end these crimes and bring societies and even countries together, no matter their background.